Well, the inflation rate coming in at 6.9% on that end, but below market expectations of about an increase of 7.1%. Were you in the camp of the 7.1% increase?
Yeah, good afternoon. Actually, the market was expecting inflation just around the level that we've seen because of the historic performance of the economy.
And if we look at some of the attributes or some of the the contributors to the inflation at this stage, could you talk us through what led to this increase?
The major lines during this time of the year relate to the food prices. There have been an increase in the food prices, and also you may have been aware that in recent past the government issued a statutory instrument on minimum wage, but the market, in responding to the implementation of the minimum wage for non-unionized workers, has resulted in adjustment in non-food prices. So these are some of the pressure points. But when we're talking about food, one of the areas that I think has really contributed to this significant move, which is higher than the normal, has been the increase in of course, money in circulation, which was one of the reasons why the central bank moved in. We've seen that there has been quite a significant increase arising from the crop marketing exercise, which has just ended.
And if we look at your perhaps maybe your view for December, are we perhaps going to see another increase coming through? You did really say that food prices are on the rise, and if we look at December, perhaps the end of year number being at 7.1%, and if we look at 2013, what kind of numbers can we expect to come through for inflation?
I think I would also like to submit that when we look at the prices, normally during the rainy season, we also see that there's an improvement in the availability of some of the foods that normally cause a reduction in the availability and hence food pressure. I'm talking about meat, fish, and vegetables, which will increase during the rainy season, and they will therefore moderate the inflationary pressure. The other side relates to the exchange rate, which has been fairly stable. And don't see that depreciating. It therefore follows that this will also help with moderating inflationary pressure. The part that I wanted to look at is one relating to the food, the maize availability. We've just come out of the crop marketing exercise, and there's sufficient maize that has been purchased for strategic reserves, and there's a surplus. So that should also help in moderating inflationary pressure in the new year.
And looking at the central bank's decision, we know that they cut interest rates about 25 basis points at a meeting in October. But when you look at these numbers now, and we have the central bank meeting on the 30th of November, do you expect them to perhaps increase interest rates or leave them unchanged? I
would like to believe that they would slightly increasing the policy rate, because on one hand, the government finds itself, in a very awkward position, because they need to prop up the economy by allowing the industry to access, cheaper borrowing rates. But if they are pushing up the policy rate, means that would sort of stifle the ability of the private sector that wants to borrow. And this is why we think that even as they try and counter the inflationary pressures relating to the adjustment of the policy rate, they also need to keep the policy rate at a level that does not necessarily increase the cost of borrowing for industry.